Hello and welcome to this week's stand-up edition of First Frames First.
Sometimes we stand up and do things,
Very rarely.
just today.
We're going to make another super quick podcast. Last week's was super fun. It was super hectic. And this week we just got finished big fight night for Art of Eight Limbs. I'm sure everybody's been watching all of our Facebook and Instagram updates and things like that. So we're going to make this one a pretty quick episode.
Yeah. So,
Now that was the break that I was trying to make. So that way we could be like, dun, 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 first frames first, and then we were going to jump into...
go. Who are we?
Nobody's!
Speak for yourself.
Okay. We're Canadian filmmakers with the dream of surviving financially on the backs of our films.
Welcome to our show where we bring people along on our film journey.
Maybe we can learn a thing or two.
Maybe we can teach people a thing or two while drinking beers.
I mean, if you can't drink beers while filmmaking, what's the point?
We are Fable Forest Films, failing our way to success.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. I mean, our show. First frames first.
So we finished an epic fight night. It was huge. There was, I'm just guessing, but there must have been about 1 million people there. It is a guess. So
If I had to guess, what do you think, 700?
yeah,
It was a lot.
between 700 and 1,000 people, I'd say.
Yeah, it was a much bigger turnout and event than last year. It was cool. I at about 6. So first fights, no, doors opened at 6.
Mm-hmm.
First fights were at 6:45. Mm-hmm. I started walking around at about 7:15. There was like a small break. Mm-hmm. And I had gone out to grab somebody or tell somebody something. And there were still empty seats and people were still trickling in, even like 45 minutes after the first fights. And we were visiting with Chris Gregg, our partner from TKO, who essentially put on the actual live event for our show, and he was saying that people were still coming in with only 3 fights left in the night because they knew
9 p.m. Yeah,
they knew that
the good fights
were coming. So
there was still some great fights at the end. So I would say, just if we're looking back, we had 11 cameras, we had 8 camera operators, we had 3 platforms, and we all set it up on the day. And so I would say that probably the at the point that we picked up all the equipment and the cameras, things got very real, very hectic. And we just started moving towards fight night. And I would say probably the most concerning, or the place where my brain spent a large portion of the worried sort of, is making sure that all the cameras were shooting, all the operators were doing their jobs, and that we didn't format. We had a system so that nobody formatted over a card that had footage on it.
correct.
Because all the day and all the night's efforts end up on a tiny little SD card or QXD card.
Not tiny, many.
And you just don't want something happening to that, because the problem is that when you have 2 cards in your hand, one of them is a fresh one and one of them is a full one, right. One is empty, one is full, and then you get distracted for a moment and you're like,
which one is which?
So we just wanted to eradicate that. We didn't want that to be a situation ever where someone was actually holding 2 cards in one hand.
Right.
So we put systems in place, and I think it went fairly successfully, eh?
Yeah, a couple of our cameramen that we hadn't worked before said we actually ran a really tight show. We produced it really well, which I was pretty happy about.
That's amazing.
I will say that, our partners with Bell Media, who sponsor the show or let's say option the show and help us with the dollar bills and such, they also loaned us a lot of equipment.
Lots.
So last week, was it Thursday we went to pick everything up, or
Tuesday?
Last Tuesday we went to pick everything up. Today is Tuesday, we just dropped everything off. But when we picked it up, we were driving back in the car and we were like, I bet you we have, X thousands of dollars worth of equipment, because we had 6 cameras borrowed from Bell, 3 sets of really high quality tripods, battery packs, cards. They gave us 20
128 gig
128 gig SD cards and 26 XQD cards for the FS7s. And so I was like, 46 cards times, let's say $100. That's almost $5,000 worth of just media cards. Till I found out those FS7 cards were minimum $350 each. So it was pretty cool. It was very cool to be in charge of that value of equipment.
Yeah, and when you're driving the car with more than $100,000 of, in value in the car, you're like, don't crash.
Yeah.
Don't crash.
100%.
Don't get into an accident.
Don't take a photo and post it on Instagram and show people where you live with all this equipment.
Here's my address.
Yeah.
So look at all the equipment we have, and the lock on the door is broken.
Listen, bad guys. There's no more equipment in here, so...
Yeah, too bad. Now, when we had all the equipment in here, I was really nervous,
So, tell us the story.
Yeah, so there was... my daughter wakes me up at about 5:36.
On the day after
we pick up
all the equipment.
And I come downstairs and I see that there's a car parked outside our house and the lights are on. And I have a look, and then the car, slowly peels off and heads away. So I'm like, oh, very interesting. So later on that day, the car is there again. And the car is just sitting there. And the thing that strikes me is that, and it is strange in the suburbs to just see a car parked there, but the weirdest thing is that there's someone sitting inside the car. So by the afternoon, the car will go and come back and go and come back. And by the afternoon, I'm kind of like, all right, this is really weird. Either it's somebody who's in trouble, they can't go home, or a homeless person, or it's the criminal element.
Right.
So eventually I just go over to the car.
A bad guy.
I'm going to get you.
Now, the windows were tinted also.
Yeah, the windows are tinted black. No good. This is no good when you're sitting on all this equipment. And so I'd end up going to the window, like, listen, what is going on here? What is happening? And a lady opens the window and she goes, oh, I'm a private investigator. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't ask for ID.
All right, well, have a good day then.
Yeah, I did not ask for ID. I was just like, okay, cool. I suppose that's fine. At least you're not a criminal. But I'm very trusting.
I'm a criminal.
Yeah,
I'm a bad guy that is paying attention to these houses to see.
Now, I just took her at her word, like a fool. But that's how I roll. And she's back today. So... Yeah. And everybody I've told the story to is like, was she investigating you? I'm like, if she was, she's the worst private investigator in history.
Well, she didn't tell you that she was investigating you. She's like, I'm investigating that guy.
Yeah.
Not you.
Not you.
Anywho. So what were some of your what was some of your favorite parts of Fight Night? By the way, I just want to let everybody know, we did a podcast a couple nights before Fight Night. Mm-hmm. And we gave all of our predictions.
Yeah.
So we have this extra podcast, this extra special predictions podcast. And now, of course, we know who won all the fights. But one of these days, when you guys can see who won the results of all the fights, we will include our predictions podcast as well. So everybody can kind of see that one. It was a lot of fun.
It was good.
Yeah.
So I would say...
Favorite moments.
Favorite moment? Every time, just the anticipation of the fight, each fight. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of every single fight, because we get to know these guys. As we're interviewing them, we see them training, we understand their fighting styles, their habits, and it becomes really interesting for us as a mental exercise who's going to win and what the fight is going to look like. So I got to say, at the beginning of each fight, just as the bell was going to ring, I was so happy. Just because you don't know what's going to happen in the fight. Now, once the first round or once the first 30 seconds of that first round is over and you kind of see what the fight's going to be, you kind of relax a little bit. But every time at the beginning of that fight with two people that I knew, I was super excited.
Yeah. I didn't really have to do anything. I mean, my job was...
the most important job, actually.
No. I mean, I did a lot of running around and stuff, but my main job while we were shooting was to collect cards from people and dump them onto my computer. So while that was dumping, I got to actually just sit and watch the fights and enjoy them. And yeah, my heart was just pounding, and I really loved all the fights. One kind of cool thing, which I thought was funny, was we had brought my computer there to do as like a dump station. And for the days prior, I had been like clearing everything off, uninstalling all my apps to try to make it as empty as possible. And we needed to use Adobe Premiere. And the actual event venue had Wi-Fi, so I was able to like download Adobe Premiere from the cloud, install it, do our tests that we needed to do, which was cool. And at one point, one of the Clifton, a 5-time world Muay Thai champion, Clifton Brown,
no small joke.
no, stops over and he's like, "Oh, I need your help." He didn't say it like that because obviously he's a man. He wasn't like, "Oh, Jay, I need your help.
Help me."
He was like, "Is there any way I could get you to download a song and put it on this USB stick?" And we couldn't get this song. Like, I couldn't just download it without costing money. So I actually
YouTubed it. YouTube downloaded
YouTube ripped it
and
onto
then
the
exported it in Premiere. Yeah, very good. Very
and
good.
no, there's a website. You can just put a YouTube link in, and it will rip an MP3 off whatever YouTube link. So I got the MP3, I gave it to the DJ guy, and away we went. Charles had his super awesome Matrix song or whatever for his walk-in music.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
anyways, that was cool. The night went great. There was like a drunk guy that got in our face. Big shout out to Wirtz, who this drunk guy got in our face, and he was like, "I paid good money to be here, and your cameramen are in the way, and I want to complain." And Wirtz was like, "Sir, for insurance reasons, you're not going to be able to be back here where all of our computer equipment was." Very official sounding. And Mike just stood up, put his hands behind his back, and walked this guy and basically pushed him out of the zone
Out of
that
our
we were
area.
in. And he was like, if he was going to fight, he was going to punch me with my hands behind my back. That's fine. But it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. No, it was a really great night. It was a long night. We got out of the venue at about 2 a.m. And
Yeah.
you were there.
Big thanks to Derek and to Lex, who helped take the or basically took the scaffolding apart. We were zonked.
Yeah, by the end of the night, holding the camera, doing, on the shoulder, basically all night, you're exhausted. I was shattered. And so I was really not looking forward to also tearing down the scaffolding for the 3 platforms. And so when I was just kind of getting my bearings at the end of the night, Derek and Lex went and ripped down the three platforms,
Yeah.
which was a
Listen,
huge help.
If Lex is listening, he was super worth his money. Now, if Connor's listening, he was not worth his money. I'm just kidding. Poor Connor. Connor was in charge of selling our DVDs, and I think he sold enough to cover how much we paid him.
I mean,
Aw.
the experience.
Anyways, yes,
the
it was good.
experience.
But, the one cool thing was Connor has his girlfriend.
That is a cool thing.
Who they're coming up on their 2-year.
Oh,
by the way.
this ain't a joke.
But she loves to take pictures. She wants to be a photographer. And so when she was like, "Well, can I come and help Connor sell the DVDs?" I was like, "Why don't you bring your camera?"
Grab a couple
Because
pickies.
why not? And so when she got there and she had her camera, I said, because she started to take pictures kind of far away. She was standing over the DVD and she was taking pictures or whatever. And I said, this might be the only, one of the only opportunities that you've got right now to really get in on a sporting event. So I said, I want you to see that cameraman right there who's right in beside the ring. Go stand right beside his shoulder and get right in there and start taking photos. And she loved it. So
That's amazing.
you're welcome, Connor.
And Anna,
And Anna. Good job.
give us
and
the
we need those photos.
the
Come on.
photos, or we will,
Come on,
and,
Anna.
come and get you.
We hope they're amazing.
Crisp, clean. You need a shutter angle, a shutter speed that's like super fast, super high speed.
I got there first thing in the morning. 5:45.
That's commitment.
And
That's commitment.
I really
people.
didn't want to, but I did really want to, and that's the only reason. I wanted to set up the GoPro with the time-lapse photography that we did when when Tabby and Audrey were doing the monster masks for Shifted. And I wanted to get that time lapse of like the ring getting set up and all the people coming in and then the ring getting torn down, and we got it. So
well done.
By the end of the night,
great.
the ring guys were almost done taking the ring apart. So, I mean, we don't have the last few photos, but
Do you know what? Now that I think about it, we should use it in the show.
oh,
Yeah.
yes, I hope that's what I would like to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Initially I thought it was just like a sort of a fun experiment. You were just like, we could put it out on social.
It's
and all
gonna
that.
be like,
but like for the show,
yeah.
that's gonna be great.
Anyways, so we gotta get out of here for today.
Yeah. What's next? What's next for us?
I mean, there's only two things. Editing, yes.
Editing.
I thought you said entertaining.
No, editing.
Right. Shifted. Art of Eight Limbs. We've got tons of editing to do. We've got a little bit of post-fight interview stuff that we have to go get, but we got tons of interviews to do.
We have so many interviews. Well, we
so
have
much editing.
Yeah, we have so much editing. Oh,
and then yeah, just all the other things.
Just gives me
pitch packets,
gives me
writing.
heart palpitations.
Yeah, get a move on. Come on, hurry up. It's gonna be done 2 weeks. All right. All right, that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll update more soon.
Thanks, guys. Dream big.
Work hard.
Thanks for watching.
First frames first.
Yes. First frames first. Thank you, Jason.
Welcome.
If you enjoyed, head over to our website, www.thefableforest.com. Check out our films and sign up for our newsletter where we will send you exclusive content.
Hit us up on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, always at The Fable Forest. And share our show with your friends. It'll really help us out a lot.
Dream big.
Work hard.